Hello and welcome to my channel. Please subscribe so you never miss an update. To begin with, there was a talented pastry chef named Mill Morton who had a dream of creating the world's best dessert. He had spent years owning his skills and was determined to compete in the biggest dessert competition. So with his team, Mill worked tirelessly to create a magnificent dessert sculpture in the shape of a beautiful phoenix made entirely of sugar. As the competition approached, everyone believed that Mill had already won. His dessert creation was nothing short of spectacular, and his skills were unmatched. However, tragedy struck on the day of the competition when, in a freak accident, Mill's own dessert fell on top of him, resulting in his untimely death. In his final moments, Mill felt a deep sense of regret. He lamented the unjust end to his life and the unfulfilled dreams that he had carried with him. Little did he know that fate had other plans for him. In a twist of destiny, God decided to reincarnate Mill in another world. Mill was reborn as the son of a noble general named Paz. Despite his noble status, Paz was a kind-hearted man who always prioritized the well-being of his people. From a young age, Mill was trained by his father in the art of swordsmanship, although his true passion lay in the realm of pastries and desserts. While Mill practiced his swordsmanship diligently, his mind was constantly filled with thoughts of his next dessert creation. He couldn't help but daydream about the flavors, textures, and presentations of his culinary delights. Despite his dedication to swordsmanship, his heart yearned to follow his true passion. One day, a messenger brought news to the general about the upcoming breakfast and some reports that needed his attention. Mill's father, consumed by his duties, decided to review the reports immediately. The messenger had both good and bad news to deliver. The good news was that their bean harvest was projected to be bountiful, just as Mill had promised. This was significant because their territory had always been barren and difficult to cultivate. Mill had used his knowledge from his previous life to improve the cultivation and harvesting process, bringing hope to the people. Excited by the news, Mill's father sought more tips from him on how to further improve cultivation and which dishes he could create using the abundant harvest. The general's confusion grew as he wondered how his son possessed such extensive knowledge about soil and farming. Unbeknownst to his father, Mill couldn't reveal the truth of his reincarnation. Instead, he brushed off his knowledge as mere wild thoughts, not wanting to draw unnecessary attention or raise suspicions. He continued to support his father's plans and shared his expertise without divulging the source of his insights. However, the atmosphere quickly shifted when news arrived that a group of 50 bandits was on the loose and headed toward their town. Panic and concern filled the air as the general and his subordinates discussed their defense strategy. The bandits posed a significant threat, not only to the safety of the villagers, but also to Mill's dreams of creating desserts. The general planned to gather the villagers and arm them, preparing for a direct confrontation with the bandits. However, Mill knew that their chances of success were slim. Their forces were limited, and other nearby lords had already suffered defeat at the hands of these bandits. Moreover, seeking reinforcements from neighboring territories would risk losing their land if they emerged victorious. The conversation frustrated Mill as he witnessed his dreams fading away. He felt helpless, unable to find a solution that would safeguard both the village and his aspirations. It was at this moment that one of his father's subordinates noticed his distress and believed that Mill was starting to feel the weight of his future role as the Lord. This subordinate suggested an unconventional approach, proposing the use of their trump card. Mill's father initially struggled to grasp the meaning behind this suggestion. But as the subordinate explained the concept of the sanctification ceremony, a ritual that awakened magical powers, the general understood the underlying strategy. To Mill's surprise, his father made a grand announcement at the breakfast table. He declared that Mill would undergo the sanctification ceremony, a significant event traditionally reserved for teenagers as part of their coming-of-age rituals. Although Mill was only 9 years old, his father believed he possessed the necessary qualities, such as exceptional swordsmanship skills and intelligence. Mill's mother initially expressed concern, as she wished for her son to have more time to enjoy his childhood. However, she eventually came around and accepted the decision, joining forces with Mill's father to prepare him for the ceremony. Before the ceremony, Mill's mother conspired with his sister to play a mischievous prank on him. They decided to dress him in girls' clothing, subjecting him to the embarrassment of cross-dressing. Mill, feeling utterly humiliated, pleaded for his father's help. But his father simply brushed off his pleas, reminiscent of the cliché of going out to buy milk. Despite his distress, Mill had no choice but to endure the torment of cross-dressing. His mother went as far as applying makeup to his face, further exacerbating his clown-like appearance. After 3 days of suffering, the time finally came to travel to the royal capital and complete the sanctification ceremony. Mill's friends, Mark and Lumi, arrived to cheer him on and provide the encouragement he needed. With his father's hand on his shoulder, Mill felt the surge of energy as his father chanted the spell that transported them to the capital. Excitement filled Mill's heart as he marveled at the sights and the wide array of ingredients he could use for his desserts. However, his father reminded him that he could only indulge in his desires and purchase anything he desired if he successfully completed the ceremony. Amidst his curiosity, Mill's eyes were drawn to a new fruit called bonkas, which possessed a unique sour taste. Mill envisioned growing these fruits in their territory, further impressing his father, who believed Mill's intentions revolved around developing the land and creating an army. Little did his father know that Mill's true obsession lay solely in the realm of desserts. In his mind, each decision and strategy were reminiscent of choosing ingredients and balancing flavors in a culinary masterpiece. As they arrived at the church, they were greeted by a panda priest who would oversee the sanctification ceremony. Mill's father explained that the ceremony consisted of both physical and mental challenges that would awaken Mill's magical abilities. The first challenge involved measuring Mill's magical power by making him drink a bitter concoction while he was restrained. Next, they left him alone in complete darkness, depriving him of all his senses. Typically, children would start screaming within a few minutes due to fear and disorientation, but Mill was different throughout his time in darkness. Mill's mind was consumed by thoughts of creating new desserts. His imagination ran wild with ideas, recipes, and flavors. The priest and Mill's father were astounded by this unexpected focus and determination. After 2 days in darkness, Mill found himself enveloped in a shimmering golden light that was absorbed into his body. The priest and Millie's father couldn't believe the extent of his magical potential. They awakened him and proceeded to the final part of the ritual. The panda priest began to recite a scripture, and to everyone's astonishment, Mill compre. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.